Hey everyone, Creepy here. So today I want to talk about something I kind of find interesting, how commentators don't really understand politics whatsoever, but still feel the need to talk about it. I'm going to be using Grimsy as an example of this. Now this video that I will be responding to is over a year old, so I don't know if he still stands by this, but I just want to talk about it still. Also, I want to only actually address the political statements he makes in this video and nothing else.
Now this is definitely going to be my fucking favorite part of this video, because I'm sure he might call me one. Essentially, if you are not of the opinion that communism is the one way to rule the world, then you have to be a neo-Nazi, man. What?
This isn't really a political statement, this is more of just a lie. He claims that I call anyone who disagrees with me politically a neo-Nazi, even though I only call people who are neo-Nazis neo-Nazis. Like, I made videos on a few neo-Nazis, I don't really talk about them that often. Even back then, when this video was made, I didn't talk about them that often. I've talked about Gypsy Crusader, a white supremacist and neo-Nazi. I've talked about Nicholas J. Fuentes, another white supremacist and neo-Nazi, and I've talked about Caitlin Bennett, another white supremacist and neo-Nazi. He's just spreading misinformation instead of actually making arguments. Now, what would I define as a neo-Nazi? Well, fascism and Nazism are kind of hard to define, but I would say a neo-Nazi is a modern-day Nazi, obviously. So what's a Nazi? It's usually a fascist who believes in white supremacy and believes in a perfect Aryan race, and hates Jews. Those last two are usually what's truly unique about Nazism. Now, if you want to know what fascism is, I recommend you look up the 14 points of fascism.
You voted for Donald Trump? Neo-Nazi! Damn it!
This man looks like he belongs in the Wizard of Oz.
Fuck! Why aren't people agreeing with me, dude? Why are these neo-Nazis not agreeing with me? He consistently refers to people that are anti-socialist as neo-Nazis.
No, I don't. He literally just made this up. I haven't covered neo-Nazis in a while, and even at this time when he made this video, I barely talked about him. He's literally just lying here.
Which is kind of weird considering that the fucking economic system that the Nazis relied on was socialism.
This is why I wanted to make this video, because at the time he made this video, he generally believes that the Nazis are socialists just because their name is National Socialists. He fell for the Nazi propaganda. The reason why the Nazis called themselves National Socialists is because socialism was on the rise in Europe, so they co-opted the term. You know how I know this? Because I actually know my history and understand what I'm talking about before I say it randomly on the internet. This man literally just assumed that the Nazis were being truthful with what they called themselves. Also, cookies for whoever actually defines communism in the comments down below without actually going to Google first. Hey everyone, Creeper here. So let's check in on our favorite neo-Nazi. Let's see what he's up to nowadays. You see, the joke is, socialists use words, and Nazis don't like words because they want to make things as with little detail as possible to control thought. Similar to what happens in the book 1984 by George Orwell, a well-known libertarian socialist.
What the dog doing?
I have read George Orwell's 1984. I think George Orwell was actually a pretty good author. I also have read his book Animal Farm. Animal Farm is actually one of my favorite books. I really enjoyed that book. George Orwell was also a socialist who supported the communists in Spain, and that's why he was surveillanced by the UK government, and that's kind of what inspired him to write 1984, alongside his disdain for the Soviet Union, which is based.
A real neo-Nazi actually supports socialism.
No, they don't. Neo-Nazis don't support the workers owning the means of production. They want an ethno-state to kick all minorities out. Those aren't the same thing.
If you look at the fucking parties that are seen as genuine neo-Nazis in today's world, I think there's one called the National Justice Party.
Okay, so I looked this up, and the only party I could find with that name is a Peruvian party that only survived for 2 years, and I don't believe they were neo-Nazis.
That is actual neo-Nazis, and they are all for socialism, man. They're totally for you.
No, they don't. Unless you're talking about Nazbols, who are socialists, who also want an ethno-state. If you're talking about Nazbols, then yes, sure. But I don't think you're talking about that. I think you just don't know what Nazism means.
They also hate Jews, like, really, really bad.
You see, that's actually like a neo-Nazi thing to do, because Nazis don't care for minority groups, especially Jewish people.
You consistently criticize other people for not understanding socialism when you don't understand fucking socialism.
No, I clearly understand what it is. Unlike you, socialism is when the workers own the means of production. You could also call it workplace democracy. That also works. You don't know what it means, so you assume that I don't.
You genuinely do not know what the fuck you're talking about.
This man tries to claim that I do not know what I'm talking about, while at the very same time saying that Nazis are socialists when they just aren't. It's just factually incorrect.
And whenever you try to just, like, censor people over shit, it's just fucking embarrassing. Like, have you even read Marx?
1, yes I have. I have a few of his books, and 2, also there's Friedrich Engels, the co-author of the Communist Manifesto, and I have read books from him as well.
Like, I'm genuinely interested. And I can't tell half the time if he's just fucking trolling, because his arguments are so fucking, like, retarded.
This is coming from the man saying that I don't know what I'm talking about, while at the very same time saying that Nazis are socialists when clearly they are not.
And probably the most important, like, use of this word is that whenever you call everybody who disagrees with you a neo-Nazi.
Let's stop right there. I don't call everyone neo-Nazis. You made that up in this video. That's really cool of you. And even if you didn't make it up personally, you just heard it and assumed it was correct without doing any research.
See, the word no longer has meaning, so actual neo-Nazis don't, like, get called out, right?
It's a very good thing that I only call out actual neo-Nazis, like Stone Toss, who is very openly a neo-Nazi. If you want to see all the horrible things he talks about, I recommend going to the Rational Wiki about him.
The average Donald Trump supporter is not a fucking neo-Nazi.
I know that. You made up a straw man and pretended that I believed in it.
A neo-Nazi is somebody who genuinely hates Jews,
I know this.
wants to hurt them, wants to hurt people of color,
Once again, I know the definitions. It's you who doesn't know them.
literally just hates everybody except, like, white males. And I know this might be a little hard for you to understand, but that isn't the average right-wing person.
It's a very good thing that I never made a claim that it was.
And I'm not a bigot. 20-year-old grown-ass man, Malden.
Grimsy, did you just use the wrong fucking pronouns?
What are you gonna do, shit your fucking diaper? Dude, Jesus Christ.
Anyway, that's all I really want to talk about today. If you enjoyed this video, please do consider liking and subscribing, and hopefully Grimsy knows what definitions are now. Creeper out.
Socialism is when the government does stuff. And it's more socialism the more stuff it does. And if it does a real lot of stuff, it's communism.